So welcome back to another week of college football. What a great weekend for Jacksonville last weekend. We were the focal point of all the ESPN and CBS reports throughout the week about the Georgia-Florida game. It was a great day for weather. The game was a good game, not a great game. The Georgia fans thought it was a great game, obviously. So we're done with that. Now the 75th game for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl is coming up, and we're really excited about that. And we've got the CFP poll for the first time. And I think that you can look at that and now we'll start working off of this board. We'll forget about the AP and coaches poll, obviously, because this is the only one that matters. But let's look at the top here. So Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Alabama. Those are all elimination games. That really makes it a playoff. And it starts now, because one of the LSU, Alabama, or one of the Ohio State, Penn State, they're going to lose. Clemson is not going to lose. There's not a team on their schedule. They play a weak schedule. They're not going to lose. So let's just put Clemson up in the Final Four because we think that's what's going to end up happening. Georgia's got a really good shot because, again, two of these teams are going to lose. And if Georgia keeps winning, then they move up into the CFP. That's if the Bulldogs win, because they have to play Auburn, Missouri, and Texas A&M. Georgia Tech they should have no problem with, but those three teams in a 3-week succession really has a tendency to beat teams up, so who knows what that final weekend against Texas A&M will look like. The rest of these teams, outside chances, certainly Baylor is undefeated. You've got Oklahoma sitting there, Utah sitting there as potential champions. But if you shake it all out, here's the big one. Notre Dame not being at 15th with no big games left to play may not be able to move up into the New Year's Day 6. You got to be 12th or higher to get in there. And there's only 2 open spots. So watch Notre Dame. They could be available to be in our mix. Go over here to the SEC. You got to figure that Georgia, LSU, and Alabama will get in the New Year's Day 6. That leaves Florida, Auburn, Texas A&M, the winner of the Mississippi State Ole Miss game, and the winner of the Tennessee-Kentucky game as bowl-eligible teams. Well, we had Texas A&M last year, so we can't have them again. We've had Mississippi State. We don't want them again. Not that we don't want them. It's just that since we've played here so many times, they're probably not our picture. So that's going to leave us Florida, Auburn, Missouri, if they become bowl eligible, and right now they're not, they're on probation, but they have an appeal into the NCAA, and a Tennessee or Kentucky. We've had Kentucky before, we've had Tennessee before, but Tennessee was 5 years ago. So as much as you'd say, well, Tennessee's not very good, they're getting better. They have a chance to win the rest of their games. They could end up 7-5. Certainly a Florida or an Auburn would be a great pick for us, and that's kind of where we're going to focus there. As we talked over here, probably the only team that we would be considering over here would be Florida State if they could get bowl eligible, and they won't now. And there's also the possibility of Virginia Tech. They seem to be playing really good, should have beaten Notre Dame last week. So that's kind of something we're paying attention to, but we really want to go Big Ten this year. So if we really want to go Big Ten, let's start talking about that. We believe that 2 of the Big Ten teams will get in the CFP. I personally think Ohio State's in the Final Four. I think they're the best team. I think Penn State will be the second best team. So both of these 2 teams come off the board. So then that leaves Michigan, Indiana, Michigan State, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. We've had Iowa. We're not going to go back to Iowa. We've had Penn State. They're going to be gone, so we don't have to worry about that. So what you're looking at here is Michigan, Indiana, Michigan State, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and that's where we'd like to look. And Wisconsin seems to be the team, according to what happens here, Wisconsin seems to be the team because they've played in a couple of the bowls that picked before us, so they can't do it again. So Wisconsin kind of sits there and we really start focusing on Wisconsin. It doesn't hurt that our chairman this year is a Big Ten, all Big Ten kicker that played at Wisconsin, but that's a really good option for us. I think Michigan will be off the board before it's our turn, although they certainly will be in our mix, which would be great. And I really like Indiana at this point at 7-2, but it was just announced that their starting quarterback is out for the rest of the year. I think they'll get to 8-4, 9-3. So if you go 8-4, 9-3, you go 10-2, and who knows what's going to happen in Minnesota, because their next 4 weeks are against all these big teams. That'll shake out. That kind of gives you a picture of where we are and what we're going to do. So I would start focusing on the teams that I just mentioned. So let's just go up, run it again. SEC, we're looking at Florida, Auburn, a Tennessee or Kentucky, a Texas A&M. We've had A&M, we've had Mississippi State. So really, we're starting to focus in now on Florida. If Missouri does become bowl eligible, Missouri would be in our mix. A Tennessee, we think Tennessee will get bowl eligible. And then, of course, we've got Auburn sitting there, too. So we're looking at those. And then over here, we're looking at Michigan, Indiana, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And I think that's a great opportunity for us to have a great 75th game, which is a milestone. And we would really like to see all of you come out and join us for our historic 75th game. We're the 6th oldest bowl game, so not many bowls have been around that long, and we continue to gain momentum in the selection process. And we also have a new 6-year deal with the ACC versus the SEC, so we're excited about our prospects. I'll see you next week.